If you were among the few who caught my last video on identifying trap traders, chances are you weren't caught off guard by the market's recent moves this past week. There was setup after setup of tradable moves incorporating the closing price and the idea of trap traders. Maybe you were prepared to avoid the traps, or maybe you were able to frame a setup to take advantage off of it. But if you didn't, don't worry, these schematics repeat again and again. Okay, we're looking at Euro from this past week, and I'm going to go over closing price and trap traders and some of the trades that I did take on the Euro futures. Actually, should I just go to Euro futures? Yeah, let me just go to Euro futures. And so you can see I got some good moves here. Let's clear the chart and just kind of go over the general context. So we have this sell-off here on Monday, this dump. We can see we close here. And now this is interesting because we do have you might say, well, hey, look, we did get this close. Why wouldn't this be a short? And, and this is where you might take a loss or, have a misread. The reason why this wouldn't be a good short for me on this Tuesday, part of it is because if we look at the dollar index, we're really not, I just didn't see this as a convincing breakout of this consolidation. We didn't clear this high even, we're getting these wicks. And then before this had even closed through, I want to say on Aussie dollar and some of the other pairs, we didn't even get we were getting a breakout the other way. So I was seeing that we were getting this kind of a breakout the other way. Now this I didn't trade, but here would have been a great trade after this really pushed away, pulls back into this down close candle. So that could have been a long here. But this is why I wasn't looking at the Euro future as a continuation short, because I saw, like, again, it looks good here on Euro, but on dollar it didn't. And I had seen on Aussie dollar the opposite. And so for me, this was just a void. So I didn't take a long here either, but this could have been a long if you had anticipated this to occur. But to me, again, this doesn't quite fit my plan. But once we get this close, we have a first green day. So obviously we're hitting big lows here. And I felt this was also still a little bit on the riskier side for me personally, because typically I would have loved to have seen this imbalance be flipped bullish before, but I was not looking to get this whole move. Instead, I saw we had this down move here, and we basically had a consolidation window. Let's see, on the 4 hour. Yeah, I use this one because it's a little bit more substantial of a candle. And so I saw this as a red outline. Here's the closing price on this particular day. Again, market in decline, another bearish day. Sellers are probably selling this close. We get the push off down. And so I was only targeting this area for my trade here. But I liked how this was setting up. If we look at this on a 4 hour, we can see we're getting all up candles. We've already trapped. This is definitely already a trap down here. So then the question is, at this point in time, are we going to get a retracement down into here, or is it safe to buy up here? And for me, once we get this breakout, now we have two candles closing outside here. I've seen what Australian dollar is doing. I've seen the dollar index trapping. And so this is a much more reasonable signal for me to look to buy on a retest of this area. And so I'm not, again, looking, of course, in hindsight, I would have said I'd love to have been in this whole move, but this was just kind of like a 2R move here. In fact, so there's many ways to execute this. So you could take, at first I thought I was just going to set a limit order here, and I did it first with the stop. But I happened to be at the screen or on my phone at this hour. And so once it started to come down, I actually closed this little starter position I had, and because it was a wider stop. And then I saw this signal here, this big close here at London open. So this was an easy buy for me back in trading into this down close candle. Stop was a little bit below this low. And again, just targeting this area because I don't know if, I just don't know what the market is going to do off of this level. To me, it felt uncertain. We hadn't flipped this imbalance. So I was cautious. And then I saw the news came in, got another nice pump. Now, took another trade after this expansion day because it's the same basic theory of expansion, closing price, consolidation, continuation. So we have our closing price here, and it's the same basic idea, breakout, retest. I'm not going to go crazy into detail. Now, how do you take profit in such a situation? Well, we obviously have this big high here, but is this high just a random high, or does it have some significance? And to me, it has some significance because we have this large down move. I'm just looking left. I see we have the close here. So we've also taken these highs with it. So we have a big expansion move. We have a consolidation window. Let's look at the 3 hour just to see what looks better. Doesn't matter. It's about the same. So I'm extending this out. So I have some confidence here that I want to take the position off in this area. And so for me, this was a signal actually on 3 hour. I saw this beautiful close, 3 hour breakout retest. The buy was off of this. Once this closed like this is when I saw it. And then I got in around here. Stop was below the consolidation candle because to me, well, we know first green day is a low of day buy signal. So if you will get a retracement, if you get a retracement and you get an area to buy low of day, that's ideal. But when we get this breakout, I'm no longer as convinced that we're going to see kind of a deeper pullback this day. Break out of the consolidation window, retest, continuation. So we got that rejection here. And then we have obviously a trade on Friday. Now this day, I actually liked how the pound looked better. And I'm going to go to actually before I go to the pound, I'm going to go to the dollar. This was that early in the week move, that big dump. And then again, it's just the same thing again and again. Wednesday, expansion, lower. We close at the low. So here's our closing price. There was that continuation move that we saw on the euro. And then it's the same thing. I have this as a consolidation window where we're trading back up into it. There's a chance that maybe we'll push off of it, but we get the close through it. That's the first signal to me that we're probably going to push higher. We also have a new imbalance here. And so everyone is trapped below the closing price. So we have trap volume down here. We obviously have the confluence as I showed you on euro, but it's the same thing on dollar. Significant low being rated. We can look at on the daily chart. We're trading into this down close area, down close candle, and we have on the weekly. So these are just other confluences that I was aware of. This imbalance here on the weekly chart into these down close candles, and then we are kind of bouncing around here. So we've closed into it, and so we're just sort of bouncing around in this window here. So it made sense for me with this imbalance from the previous week for price to react off of here. Once we see trapped traders, trapped volume confirmed with this close on the 4 hour. So I like to use intermediate. Not only does it close above, so this is what was great about this. It's two things happening at once. We're closing above this bearish consolidation window from this down day. And then we also have this up move. This is the consolidation window from this day. And so it's just a breakout retest continuation up into this area. Now, to me, there was a good trade on euro, but if we look at British pound futures. Let's take a look at the basic setup. It just looks a little bit better because on the 4 hour, we have this push up from this Wednesday, closing price on this Wednesday. It did go a little bit higher, and then the collapse, and it closed below the open on Thursday. So we have a first red day set up here. We have the consolidation window from this move on Wednesday that has now been violated after it was used as support here. So longs are trapped up here. This one is not as, there we go. So 3 hour, we have our consolidation window. So you could look at this as a reversal off of the pump up. So in that sense, it's a reversal. So if you look at it like this pump up, we have this closing price here. We get beneath it, retest, continuation lower. That looks like this. But we can also frame it from our first red day perspective like this. That's what makes it for me a no-brainer setup, because I can see it as a reversal here, but we can also look at it as a continuation because we have our first red day, closing price extended out into time, and then we get our breakout on higher time frame of the consolidation window. See on the 3 hour breakout, pull back, dump. Also had a great target down here because again, closing price, sellers, anyone who's selling this is sort of like a 50% pullback into this low. They are trapped here. And so this is a logical area to take profit. Also, this is a very big confluence, which I haven't really talked about that much, but when we have this flat candle here, this flat bodied candle, there's no wick on the low of this candle. The market tends to gravitate back to them and react off of them. So this could have been possibly a trade off of this level, which I did not take. Probably would have been a great trade to take. I'm not even sure if there was a signal. Probably was here, but again, I was kind of done at this point. One last example, because I was talking about crude oil earlier in the week, and I talked about in one of my last videos about how we had this, again, same thing, push up, rally, close, consolidation window here. This one was a little bit trickier because we got the breakout, but we have a little manipulation wick. So the wick's doing the damage, the close telling the story, respecting this imbalance, closing here, pushing up. And then there's more trades for the rest of the week, but I had said in my last video that when we get 3 days of expansion, it's best to sit on your hands and see. So we had 1, 2, 3 bullish expansion days, and then this would be a day not to buy on this Wednesday until a daily low gets taken out. When does the daily low get taken out? On this Thursday. So we get a wick below this low. What does it look like overlaying with the other concepts? So we have closing price from this up day, a consolidation window right here, sort of an early break, so false start break of the consolidation window, just like it did here, where it breaks above a high and pulls back to take the low, pulls back, takes the low of the consolidation window. We can see the raid here. This is a great signal. 15-minute chart. Let's look at the inversion. Bearish displacement. Bearish imbalance here. Gets flipped, retest, rally. So no matter how you want to execute, whether it's lower time frame, waiting for the right signal in the lower time frame, or if you're more like me and you just don't have time to be so precise and to be staring at the monitor, you want to not babysit when this trade starts moving. So I like to use wider stops. This one, I did not take this one because I was just in the other trades that I was talking about, but I just thought this was a really nice opportunity as well, where I wish I had set an alert actually at this low. Would have been smart because I was obviously awake at this time and I was just looking at other things, but this was a really nice setup as well. heading into the close of Thursday. And then, of course, you can see the same sort of idea play out on this Friday. See, there we go. This consolidation window, you can see there was a trade here too. Not something I took, but again, there's just so many opportunities. It's like there's no need to kind of overthink it or think that you're going to even get all these moves. It's just, there's so many to choose from. You could look at dollar Swiss, same kind of thing. This was the opposite kind of that euro trade, but you could see we have a rally up, pump, closing price, consolidation, buyers trapped up high, expansion lower. And then when the market revisits this area, it has a really nice reaction. So there's just so many tradable moves all over the place that I don't even try to take too many, just a couple here and there, just to stay regulated, stay focused, keep my mind clear. So a few of these a week make a big difference, and it's just easier to just go on with your day on a higher time frame for me personally. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and there will be more to come.